What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to another Resplendent review. Today I'm going to be taking a comprehensive look at Shanna and I'll be going over the builds that you can run on her for different game modes like PvE, Arena and Aether raids, and at the end I'll have a special bonus segment regarding her re-refine. So if you do enjoy these Resplendent reviews, then make sure to iceberg the like and subscribe button just like Shanna, and with that said, let us begin. Shanna is a Gen 1 Lance Flyer, and among a lot of Lance Flyers, she definitely has the competition, and this kind of Resplendent stat spread is going to be helping her a bit because she doesn't have the highest base attack at base 30, so now it is base 32, which is still not the highest, but it's at least better than before. She has got base 37 speed, which is definitely the best part of her stat spread overall, and her resistance is also a bit higher now, so she can make use of stuff like Pegasus flight at max investment. But overall, Shanna suffers from the early refine because she doesn't get any kind of stats from this refine. It's just a very simple refine giving you the slaying Wodao effect, which many units have like Karel and also Flier. So it's nothing really too unique in terms of refine. It can help her a bit, but still it doesn't really nearly help her as much. And there are a lot of factors in actual games as well. Like, because she only gets the true damage on special triggers, if the enemy has got some kind of guard skill, a stand skill or something like that, then she's not triggering her special and getting the true damage. If the enemy has got some kind of follow-up negation, then she's just not doubling and she's not triggering her special on the second hit. So there are definitely a lot of factors, and this kind of simple weapon refine faces a ton of competition in the modern times because you're simply depending on her pure stats. Before I go to the build section, let's compare Shanna to the other free-to-play Lance Flyers which are often going to be picked over her to be built up. So here you can see the comparison of Resplendent Shanna with Max Dragon Flowers, and here we have got Seteth. He has Max Dragon Flowers and Max Merges as well, and he will still have a better offensive stat spread with Spear of Astel, not to mention he can also support his allies with that. Resplendent Cordelia is also a really popular merge project, and even with a Brave Lance with lower might, she's got pretty much the same attack stat as Shanna, and with Dive Bomb she can be a pretty nice unit overall as an offensive flyer. If you're looking for a high resistance Lance Flyer, then Claire is also a really good option, and she's gonna be due for a Resplendent version probably in future. And the best part about Claire is that she actually has effective damage against armor and cavalry units, so even though she's got low attack stats, she can still make up for that. Not to mention, Flashing Blade for a flyer is extremely unique, which gives her the niche of running Gale Force or Iceberg without really relying on her attack stat to trigger Heavy Blade like the other flyers. Shanna is the type of unit that people are going to be building up only if they like her a lot already. If you like her voice lines, design, and stuff like that, then yeah, she could be an option, but for the most people, they're not going to be incentivized on building up Shanna, especially because of her fodder value as well, because she's the only 3-star, 4-star unit who has got Desperation in the normal summoning pool. So her fodder value is tremendous, and when you combine the fact that she's got incredible competition from other Lance Flyers, not a lot of people are really going to be building her up. And building her up requires a lot of premium investment, and we're talking about Max Dragon Flowers, Max Merges, and premium skills. Shanna definitely needs some kind of max investment to function in the modern times in my opinion. Shanna is the queen of desperation, so on a budget you could definitely run Fury Desperation just like the good old times and run Iceberg, or you could even run Moonbow actually, which you can trigger in the desperation range, and Blade Session is going to be helping you a bit more with the offenses. And now let's move on to the actual premium builds because like I said, you pretty much need premium investment to make full use of Shanna in the modern age, and this is a build which you can run with Dive Bomb. So Dive Bomb is going to be pretty helpful because unlike Desperation, she doesn't really have to worry about falling into some kind of threshold HP range, and she can easily trigger Moonbow on the second hit and get the true damage. Attack Speed Catch might seem a bit strange when this is mostly a player face build, but the extra throughput from Attack Speed Catch can be really helpful, but you can still run some other skills like Susparo for example, and a Rain skill is going to be must for Shanna. Speed Defense Rain is going to be the best one, and Blade Session to give her the max amount of offenses that she can get. Like I said before, she can definitely make use of Pegasus Flight. She doesn't have as much resistance as the Horba or like Claire, but still she can be a decent user of that. You definitely want to use Fury 4 because keep in mind that Pegasus Flight checks for visible defense and visible speed stat. So any kind of extra point of resistance with Summoner support, extra Dragon Flowers, the resistance buff, anything like that can definitely help her get the extra debuffs on the enemy. You can also run Phantom Resistance, but you can just go with an offensive Sacred Seal as well, like attack speed solo. And Iceberg can be the special. The only downfall of this kind of build is that she's constantly going to be taking some kind of chip damage from Fury, and I know for many people it is going to be a really annoying thing. You can also use her with Surge, Sparrow, and a Trace skill. This is an extremely expensive build, but the idea with this build is that because she's not running Desperation or Dive Bomb, she's a lot more vulnerable. So to make sure that she's healthy, Surge Sparrow can heal her up as she will spam her Iceberg, which will be doing a lot of damage. And Near Trace can give you that counter utility in the player phase and also the in-combat debuffs, which Shanna definitely appreciates. So that is the basic idea with this kind of build, to function in the player phase, heal up, do the Iceberg damage, and use the counter utility to get out of there. You can also run some other weapons over her preferred weapon, like Springy Lance for example, if you want to have some extra offenses in your weapon. So this can give you +5 attack and speed while also neutralizing your attack and speed debuffs. So you can have a player phase build with Dive Bomb, with Swift Sparrow, or even double life and death, because you can actually increase her visible attack and speed stat, because as it is, she's going to be neutralizing the debuffs on that as long as the foe is above that HP threshold. You can also use her high speed with a Fire Sweep Lance set. I know this kind of build is a bit old, but you can just stack up the debuffs from Rain skill and Near Trace, get the counter utility, and just have a lot of offenses with a slotted skill and something like Blade Session in the player phase. Finally, if you want to make use of Shanna with her resistance, then you can run Distant Counter on her. And because of her high speed, she can definitely make use of Guard Bearing, because Guard Bearing only reduces the damage from foe's first attack, and Shanna a lot of times is not going to get naturally doubled because of her high speed. So that is pretty good and can make her bulky with the attack debuff of Attack Speed Rain. And you can just run Iceberg to get that nice damage out of it. And Mystic Boost Sacred Seal can be helpful for self-sufficiency. You're going to be susceptible to archers, so definitely watch out for that. I would only recommend this kind of build at max investment. A lot of these builds are to be run at max investment because she really needs every single stat point that she can get even after the Resplendent version, especially this kind of tank build and the Pegasus flight build, which I went over a few sections ago. So yeah, Distant Counter builds is something you can run to make her resistance work out in the enemy phase. And now let's talk about her competitive use with Arena and Aether raids. So for Arena, you can run Duel Flying 4, and Near Trace skill is really amazing on any kind of Cavalier or Flier in Arena because you get that counter mobility, which is really invaluable. And you can run a Rain skill and have Ruptured Sky. Ruptured Sky is going to be a one-turn special, so that is good. And you can run some other slot B skills as well, like Dive Bomb, Guard Bearing, depending on your use case and the other teammates who can support her. The Near Trace is going to be a pretty unique utility which you can give to your team if you mainly have infantry and armor units in your arena core. So again, it really depends on your use case, on which slot B you want to give to her. And you can go with attack speed solo or just run guidance to help your infantry and armored allies if you want to. In Aether raids, she's not going to be that unique, but if you really want to use her, then you can use her with this kind of build, utilizing the weapon refine that she's got with Iceberg and running her with either Brave Lucina or Summer Hilda. The reason being is that we want to retaliate back with Icebergs, which are going to be doing a lot of damage in the light season, where she's going to be getting 10 extra resistance from air and dagger, and that's why she can use Pegasus Flight to get the in-combat debuff on the enemies and a lot of the frail mages and stuff like that. So that is going to be her game plan, because I feel like a lot of other Lance Flyers can be used offensively in Aether raids with Gale Force and stuff like that, but Shanna doesn't have the best attack stat to use Heavy Blade. So if you really want to use her, then as a tank she could work out, and you're pretty much going to be getting 28 damage with Iceberg, and then you get 10 true damage from Shanna's Lance. So you get a lot of damage output, and you can definitely one-shot many of the opponents who are going to be frail especially. And blue is not the worst color to be tanking in my opinion, because there are not going to be too many green threats, but you still have to watch out for stuff like Wrath, Python, and the archers in general, especially the new Scion Leaf. So that is going to be a bit of a problem when you're not going to be running Iota Shield. Mystic Boost is super important to make sure that you can have that self-sustain, because we're focusing with her special on the damage output, so the Sacred Seal can help her heal up the HP. With the Pegasus Flight and Attack Speed Rain debuff, she can definitely get pretty bulky, especially on the magical side, so try to use her as some kind of a counter pick against a lot of the mage heavy teams when they don't have any kind of archer who could shoot her down, and she can definitely tank a lot of mages with her high resistance. She's of course going to get doubled with stuff like Bramimond, but if you want, you can run a Ruse skill on Brave Lucina to help you with that against those kind of annoying auto follow-up enemies. Now let's talk about her weapon refine. So having plus and true damage with your special and minus on special cooldown is nice, but it's not nearly enough in the modern times. So if she got a weapon refine right now, I think I would like her weapon refine to be something like this. She will still have the minus on special cooldown, but I would want her to have a better true damage by basically having true damage based on her speed. And we do have precedence of this on Gangrel with his weapon that scales off based off his resistance. So Shanna's can scale off on her speed, and that can definitely help her with her damage output, and she can basically do true damage on both of the hits when she's going to be doubling, and this is definitely much better than the plus 10 true damage that she could only get when her special triggered. So she doesn't really have to worry about guard skills and stuff like that anymore, and she's still going to be getting the consistent true damage, and that is definitely really helpful for her damage output overall. For the refinery section, she could get plus 5 attack and speed during the combat in both phases, and she also gets access to time pulse. We again have precedence for this on a free-to-play unit, so I don't really think this is going to be too far-fetched on someone like Shanna. With this weapon refine, Shanna can be a really unique lance flyer because flyers cannot have access to time pulse on top of having minus on special cooldown, and the true damage, we have already seen that on Bridal Shanna, so I feel like this would go well on her original version as well. And Bridal Shanna often gets underrated, but her damage output can definitely be pretty nice because of the true damage from her weapon that also scales off based on her speed. With this kind of weapon refine, she could have like 1-turn Iceberg, a 2-turn Glacies, have pre-charged Ruptured Sky, Moonbow, Glimmer, and also have Gale Force at 3 cooldown, which she could trigger without using any kind of Flashing Blade if she's going to be getting counterattacked by the enemy. I feel like this makes her a lot more unique as a lance flyer in the free-to-play pool than the Slaying Woda effect that she has got. Let me know what you think about this theorycraft of mine in the comment section down below. I'll be good to hear that. And I hope you all enjoyed this Resplendent review. Make sure to share this video with your friends who are big Shanna fans or are just looking forward to building her. And if you enjoyed, then make sure to leave a like and a comment, also tremendously. And if you really enjoyed, then you can support me directly by becoming a YouTube member or by using super thanks down below. And if you want to see more Resplendent reviews, then make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I wish YouTube sub boxes would show my videos as many times as the Gen 1 units who got Slaying Woda weapon refine. So that's it, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.